FE users, that is, FJs and TPs, their smile expresses outwards, horizontally. The outer corners of the mouth stretch sideways due to peripheral tension, that is, muscle tension along the sides of the face. Meanwhile, for FI users, FPs, and TJs, their smile causes their face to scrunch inward due to central muscle tension, on and around the nose and the nasolabial folds, this area. Instead of stretching laterally to any significant extent, the smile gets pulled up vertically. These differing mechanisms don't just contribute to different aesthetic impressions, but also create interesting variations in facial aging. Muscle movement is, of course, super relevant to aging, hence why Botox is used to slow down and reverse some visible signs of aging. Botox is a neurotoxin which paralyzes the muscles it's injected into. No muscle movement means muscles can't contract and create creases, which turn into fine lines and wrinkles over time. While obviously any personality type can choose to undergo anti-aging procedures, I'll argue that the smile lines caused by FI muscle movements tend to be worse or more damning signs of aging, according to the standards of cosmetic surgery. I think because the FE smile moves mostly horizontally, it's not as affected by gravity. Here, we see an older woman who has an FE smile. She has a lot of these curved lines on the sides of her face, and when she stops smiling, some of those lines remain. However, her facial features are pretty much in the same position on the vertical plane, so I don't think she looks that different when she's smiling versus when she isn't. Here's another example. In contrast, here's another lady who has an FI smile. As you can see, her smile doesn't widen to any significant extent. The main movement is up. You can even see that the distance between her nose and upper lip decreases. Since the smile doesn't express laterally, she actually doesn't have significant lines on the sides of her face. All the tension is concentrated in the center, on and around the nose, running up to the eyes and down along the nasolabial folds, all serving to pull her face in and up. But when she stops smiling, her entire face drops. There's more laxity along the jawline as well. Unlike with FE examples, I see more contrast between when she's smiling versus when she isn't. I think this is just due to the up and down nature of FI smiles exacerbated by gravity over time. It also doesn't help that FI smiles involve drastic movements when the subject is feeling extreme emotions. Like in this example of Zainab from the show Love is Blind, this smile involves extreme central tension, and of course, exaggerated facial expressions are more likely to contribute to wrinkles. Even though Zainab is fairly young, she already has nasolabial lines. I have these lines as well, by the way. There's nothing wrong with them, but society deems it a flaw, so those who have the means and the desire and or social pressure to quote-unquote fix it will do so. Like Katy Perry. Her smile squishes up a lot compared to her resting position. Over time, this leads to deep nasolabial lines that stick around even when the face is in a neutral position. There are a lot of techniques to combat smile lines, but I think filler and Botox are the most common. With filler, you can fill in the crease, but also, I think since you're adding volume, it stretches the skin more taut, which makes it harder to crease. With Botox, you partially or fully paralyze certain muscles. Either way, the central tension is reduced, which limits the range of movement. Interestingly, the result, I think, is a smile that looks a bit more FE. It may be because upward motion is limited, so the smile is forced to express laterally, but the muscles responsible for stretching the smile sideways aren't as developed or active in FI users, so the smile doesn't look fully FE either. It's easy to go overboard and appear uncanny. Here, her smile can't go up as much. There's such a lack of central tension that her eyes aren't involved in her smile. There isn't the muscle activation required to squish her eyes up. Plus, her smile can't express sideways significantly either, and lacks peripheral tension. The result is a smooth appearance, but not as expressive as a natural FI nor FE smile. Another example, Anna Kendrick. I think she's really young here with her natural FI smile, very cute. Later, I don't know what exactly she got done, but here, her smile can't go up or sideways, so it just looks like a baring of teeth. Notice in this picture, her eyes are uninvolved in the smile. Fortunately, Botox wears off and filler migrates, so people usually end up looking more like themselves again until the next treatment. Another example, Zoe Deschanel, she has a gorgeous FI smile with lots of central tension. You can especially see it in this picture where she's half smiling, but maybe to avoid lines that stick around even when the face is in a neutral position, at some point I think she got something done that makes her smile look more frozen. Her nasolabial lines look a lot lighter, and her smile doesn't express upwards as much. Also note the lack of eye involvement and tension around the nose. Again, the treatments more or less wear off, and the smile ends up looking more natural. FE celebrities likely undergo anti-aging treatments as well, but they don't need as much to fix their smile lines. It probably takes years for peripheral tension to form these tiny, fine lines that can be fixed with a tiny amount of filler, which wouldn't be enough to change the FE impression of a smile. So yeah, I don't think there's a conspiracy against FI smiles, but sadly, anti-aging treatments often aim to reduce the lines caused by central tension, which eradicates the unique charm of FI smiles. I'm also concerned about possible non-aesthetic consequences. There are already studies suggesting that Botox blunts emotions by paralyzing the muscles associated with said emotions. It appears that emotional experience and physical expression are intertwined, so I wonder if by limiting the movement scope of FI smiles, the FI function itself would be dampened. It's especially interesting since many non-celebrities can and do afford Botox, and it will probably continue to become more and more accessible. By the way, I have nothing against people who choose to get work done. I might get work done as well. It's just sad that there's so much societal pressure for women to look young. Men are under less pressure to look young, so celebrities such as George Clooney tend to keep their FI smiles and the eventual lines that come with them. So yeah, a random topic, but I felt compelled to comment on this. What do you think of FI versus FE smiles? What impressions do they give you? I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're wondering about your own smile type, you can get evaluated on my website. Thanks for watching!